Hey guys, I'm Brandon Clark with Slacker Racing Development and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to look at how to make a blow-by testing adapter for your Porsche 996 or 997 or 987 engine. We only need a few simple tools, and so let's get started. Okay, so in order to build our kit, first we're going to need a digital manometer. This model from O'Toole is fairly inexpensive and it's a good brand for DIY type stuff. We're also going to need a Porsche 997, 987 oil cap. And then for tools, we're going to need a cordless drill, an 1/8 inch MPT tap, an 11/32 drill bit for drilling our tap hole. And then for our crankcase bleed off holes, we're going to need a 7/32 drill bit and a 7/64 drill bit. Other items I have is a paint marker for marking the spot, a little bit of super glue to seal it with. Don't really want to use the normal Teflon tape, wouldn't want that to make its way into the crankcase. And then we've got some plugs for plugging the bleed off holes when we're not using them. All right, let's get started. So first off, I'm going to start by marking my holes. These oil caps have an area in the bottom that we want to get in between for our pressure hole, and this manometer comes with an 1/8 inch MPT to 5/32 hose barb, as well as the hose pieces to use in between. And so first I'm going to mark one spot directly in the middle of the cap, and then a spot kind of halfway between where you can see the ring line and what'll be the outside line, and that way I can get a nice clear hole without hitting the gasket or this. So I kind of ended up fighting that a little bit. Probably be a good idea to put this in a vise or a clamp and just get a light hold on it. But we're going to proceed with this one. And so my other two hole sizes, the second one is the 7/64 hole. And then the second one will be the 7/64 hole. Okay, those went a little simpler. Okay, so now after I've drilled my 3 holes, I've now switched to my 1/8 inch MPT tap. I'm just going to run it through the middle of here pretty slowly. Let it find its way. And we're just going to reverse it back out. Okay, and that should give us a couple of threads in order to help seat this in. But as opposed to the Teflon tape, I'm going to use just a little bit of super glue to help kind of seal it once it's in. Just a little kind of around the edge. We should be able to almost hand turn this all the way in. And then once I get that in there, I've got a 12mm wrench, or I believe this is a 7/16 equivalent, that I can use to go ahead and turn it the rest of the way until we get it kind of sealing there at the bottom. Don't want to go too far or we'll strip it out, but just kind of snug it up there where the super glue can take hold and seal off that surface. Okay, so we now have our barb for feeding into our digital manometer, which we'll have set to inches of water. And then we've got two holes here which allow us to do two different measurements, if you will. The smaller one is for typically at idle, and the larger one allows us to connect the manometer and go make a full watt run with this set to the max value and see what the max crankcase pressure is. But normally we just run these at idle, and so typically we'll leave the large hole plugged. We can use one of these black plugs right here to plug the larger hole, and then simply we'll be able to connect this end to the barb and this end to the manometer. All right, let's go see it in action.